The story of Noemi, narrated in the book of Ruth in the Old Testament, begins in Bethlehem of Judah during a period of famine. Noemi, her husband Elimelech, and their two sons, Mahlon and Chilion, migrate to the land of Moab in search of better living conditions. There, Elimelech dies, leaving Noemi a widow. Her sons marry Moabite women, Ruth and Orpah. However, after about 10 years, Noemi's two sons also die, leaving her desolate and without heirs. With no other option, Noemi decides to return to Bethlehem after hearing that the Lord had blessed the land with food. She encourages her daughters-in-law to stay in Moab where they would have better chances of rebuilding their lives. Reluctantly, Orpah decides to stay, but Ruth, with great loyalty, insists on accompanying Noemi. She utters the famous words, "Where you go, I will go. Where you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people, and your God my God." The two return to Bethlehem at the beginning of the barley harvest. Bitter from her tragedies, Noemi asks to be called Mara, meaning bitter, but the story takes a different turn. Ruth starts working in the fields to support them both and providentially ends up gleaning in the field of Boaz, a relative of Elimelech. Boaz, impressed by Ruth's dedication to Noemi, treats her generously. With Noemi's encouragement, Ruth approaches Boaz, who is a kinsman redeemer, Goel, had the right to marry her to preserve the family lineage. Boaz assumes this responsibility, marries Ruth, and they have a son named Obed. This son, besides restoring Noemi's joy, becomes the grandfather of David, the future king of Israel. Thus, Noemi's story transitions from tragedy to redemption, showcasing God's care through loyalty, providence, and his divine plan culminating in the messianic lineage. Noemi and Ruth's story continues to be one of the most touching in the Bible due to its themes of loyalty, faith, and hope amidst adversity. After Boaz and Ruth marry, the birth of Obed marks the end of Noemi's suffering. The people of Bethlehem, who had previously witnessed Noemi's bitter return, now celebrate with her the birth of her grandson. The women of the town, seeing Noemi with Obed in her arms, declare that the boy will be a restorer of life and provide for Noemi in her old age. Thus, Obed symbolizes the renewal of Noemi's life, bringing her joy and meaning after years of devastating losses. But Noemi's story also connects to a larger narrative. Obed is the father of Jesse, who is the father of King David. David, the most beloved and respected king of Israel, is in the ancestral line of Jesus Christ, according to the New Testament. Therefore, Noemi, through her daughter-in-law Ruth and Boaz, plays a significant role in the story of salvation, even without realizing it. Noemi's name, which means pleasant, comes to reflect her renewed life. Her story is a powerful example of how God can transform even the most difficult circumstances into unexpected blessings. Noemi, who once felt abandoned and embittered, ends her story surrounded by love, with a secured place in God's grand plan for the redemption of the